Hey guys, what's up, man? 9:45 here, and my mic is not fucking on. Okay, there we go. Um, man, 9:45 here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I am going to be talking about a show that I just finished. Um, I guess you could call it a review, but I don't know. I'm kind of reluctant to, I guess, say that because I don't know. I don't feel like the type of show that you just review is what I'm talking about. That show, enough beating around the bush in that department is Zanki no Terror. And I just finished watching it as of like 30-40 minutes ago, and the rest of that 30-40 minutes was spent watching other people's reviews to kind of help gather my thoughts on it. So overall, I thought it was a very, very interesting show. Um, I think the storytelling is really interesting. Because I watched several different reviews, I did get some like looking perspective, which I think was good. Thought it was good for my mind to have those things. I saw people that really liked the ending, or I mean the storytelling. I mean, I'll get to the ending later. And I saw other people that did not like it. And I think people that did not like the storytelling and pacing were expecting something different from this show than what it actually was, or was intended to be. Because um immediately I think the whole mystery, like it's a very unique show because it's like it's I guess like the best way to describe it would maybe be like a mix of Death Note and Psychopath. But even then, that explanation doesn't feel like I'm like doing the show justice. Um, it it is like hard. It's very hard to describe because it's like part mystery, part like um societal commentary type show. So I will say. I think the whole mystery aspect kind of in the beginning, I think it's a great way to draw you in because I think it's it's the reason that Death Note works so well. It's like it's the same reason that like Lelouch's plotting in Code Geass works so well. It's because um mystery plots like that, I think, are just inherently captivating, and I have yet to personally see a bad example of something like this. Um, uh, still and am uh, Hmm. I still also like collecting my thoughts a little bit, which is why this might seem a little rambly, but to be honest, that should not be a surprise because a lot of my videos are like that. Um, I'm sleepy. Um, so I really like the mystery aspect in the beginning, and then um and then like what I was sold on that, and I was sold on the like direction of the storytelling. What I wanted from this show after that was I wanted the good characters because that was clearly, in my opinion, the intent behind it. Like, it clearly, to me anyway, feels like this show wanted to initially grab people in and then really sell them on the themes and its overall message. And I think it very successfully did that, which I'll get into in a second about the overall message of the show. I think it succeeded with that, and I think it succeeded at using its characters to also further spread the message along with the storytelling. I think all of that works actually really well. Um, I would say my biggest complaint about the show, like I just mentioned, I wanted satisfying ends to those characters, and I feel like I got that, but it was only like 50%. And I think that brings me into, in my opinion, the biggest flaw of this show is the fact that it just needed more episodes. Like the character development moments we got were really good. I really like the introduction of Lisa. I saw some in the reviews I watched along with looking at comments. I saw some conflicting opinions. Some people did not like Lisa. I I think Lisa is obviously not the most interesting character, but that's the entire point. Um, and I think that her presence as a supporting character works really well. And I say supporting character because she is a main character. What I mean is supporting character to the dynamic between 9 and 12. Um, However, I think if she got more episodes, I think that like being able to explore that relationship between them more would have been better. And the same exact thing with 9 and 12. I really, really thought all the lore that we get about the Athena plan was extremely interesting, and I loved the way that it was very slowly drifting. I thought that was fantastic. Um, and I really liked the way that their relationship was characterized. I think that like that combined with how five was used in the show, I thought was very good. Um, I really liked seeing the bits in the institution as part of their backstory. I think it worked very well, especially with establishing their final motivation when it's revealed in the last episode. But again, I wanted more. I wanted more. Um, I think that like if we had gotten to see more of like that backstory in the institution, gotten to see more time, gotten to see Lisa and 9 and 12 spend more time together, even if like a romantic subplot was not the intention, I still would have liked to see more potentially romantic. That was the direction they could have gone in. I would have liked to see more of that potentially between 12 and Lisa because I thought it was going in an interesting direction, but also didn't take up too much time. Um, I that's honestly genuinely the biggest thing from this. It's the biggest thing. It's the biggest problem I have with this show, and it's the thing that really holds it back for me is everything that it was going for. I think it really fucking succeeded, but it needed more episodes. It really did. I genuinely think this is my genuine opinion after watching like four different reviews about this show, all of which had pretty different perspectives. I think that if this show was like the same length as Cowboy Bebop, still like 26 episodes, not only would it be called a modern classic, I think it would genuinely be treated with the same reverence and respect that Cowboy Bebop is today, like a modern version of it, essentially. Obviously, like completely the same because they could not be more different in a lot of aspects. But like, you get what I mean. This show, I think if it had just more to it, if it had more character development, more plot, like just more of the really good storytelling that it already had, more time whipping out the message that it was already doing so well, then it would I genuinely am of the belief that this show would be called like a modern masterpiece, a modern classic, kind of like the way you hear some people say Attack on Titan is. Um I genuinely think that this show would reach the same kind of like cult classic respected reviewed status as being such an incredible show if it just had more. Um, I think counter this with a couple things I've watched in the past, but I think this is, especially anime wise, I think this is like the biggest, I guess, um, I don't know if I don't know if perpetrator is a right word, but I couldn't think of a better one. I think it's the biggest perpetrator of um just not having enough in terms of like overall media I've watched. It just doesn't have enough. I'm gonna stop with that point because before I sound like a like some kind of drone on repeat. But I think that's honestly the main point that I want to get across in this video because I'm going to talk about other positive aspects after this. Um because I genuinely think it is the show's biggest flaw and it really hurt its potential in my opinion. Now, other things I did like. As I mentioned, I really like the storytelling. I was drawn in with the whole mystery and the kind of like mind game, the cat and mouse mind game thing between Sphinx and Shibazaki and the other police. Thought that was interesting way to draw me in. And then from there, I was hooked on the characters. I quite like their interactions, and I quite liked seeing that. I really can't say I don't even know if I've seen anything that like Gwent feeds the story and message so slowly like this show does. And I think I was really into it. It wasn't in a way to where I wanted to drop the show. Exact opposite, in fact. Um, which is why, I've had semi-conflicted thoughts about it because, it's the first time I've really watched anything like that. So it was extremely interesting, extremely unique. Um, I also think the message was executed extremely well. I think that, initially, I was actually kind of worried that it was going to end unsatisfyingly with a lack of some kind of message anyway. I was not looking for it to be like blared obviously because it was clear to me that that probably wasn't the point and the direction he wanted to go. Um, I think the way that it was revealed very broadly is genius because it's a mix of like telling you what you want to know, but also incorporating other elements from other shows that do it very well, like Monster, where it also kind of leaves it a little bit up to viewer interpretation. Um, and I think that balancing act that it did, like maintaining that level of broadness versus specificity, was done very well. It's a nice balance in the middle. Um, and I'm not gonna lie. I will not bullshit and act like I know the types of societal commentary that this was trying to cover, but just in my opinion, I think a big part of the themes and the characters was clearly discussing something related to Japanese society and Japanese politics. I think that's a very big part of the show. I do not know nearly enough about Japanese culture to even make a single assumption as to what it might have been trying to cover, but that was just an observation I made, and I thought that that was very interesting, even if I didn't understand all of those aspects. A couple other minor things. Music was fucking fantastic. I based on watching the reviews, I learned that apparently the motorcycle scene was very famous. Um, I did not know that. I thought it was a good scene. Definitely created vibes. Um, uh, I think, um, I thought the animation was very cool. I really liked the art style animation. I think Mappa did honestly a fantastic job here, and I think it's very unique because it doesn't really look like anything else that Mappa has done, and I think it was done very, very well. Um, Now I think that's kind of all my thoughts on it, to be honest. Overall summary, I think I would give it like a 7.5 because I thought there was a lot. It's kind of similar to my thoughts on Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Not in the same way, but like when I discussed that on a podcast, I mentioned that like it had a bunch of really good things with one major flaw. I think that's how I would really describe this show because the one flaw was that it just needed more episodes, just needed more to it, more to like everything. Um, but the stuff that it did have was really, really good. I just needed more. Hopefully I did not sound too repetitive in this video, but this is like the first time I really felt like so emphatic about the idea that um Joe needed more of what it already had. Um and in a way, I guess it is kind of similar to Cyberpunk Edgerunners in that way, in that Cyberpunk Edgerunners probably needed a couple more episodes, but this one, it needed like this same length as Cowboy Bebop, I'm convinced. But anyway, that's my review. I thought it was a good show. It just needed more. 7.5 out of 10. There you go. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please let me know what you thought of Zanki no Terror, or what you think of Zanki no Terror, um, uh, in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.